Very good morning, students. Welcome to Dr. Ambedkar Open University Psychology online class. This is Foundations of Psychology. Today we would be having Unit 4, Neural Bias of Behavior. Yeah, what is neural? What do you understand by neural? I want this. Sorry. Related to
nervous system.
Yeah, very good. So we are going to know about the most basic things and most important things about the brain and brain's function, how it performs, and what is the most important messenger which carry our impulses to the various parts of the body and the reaction which we in turn do. So objectives, this is part of biopsychology, and you will be understanding about all these things. So I would be taking at least 3 units today, so I'll be rushing most of the time. If you have any doubt, please type in the things so that I'll answer them later on. So what is a neuron? As I said, it is a messenger. There are about 100 billion neurons or nerve cells in our brain. 100 billion. It's not exact, about 100 billion. So neurons have many of, they are like, many of them are same features as the other cells. They're similar to the other cells, but what makes it different? Same, like, nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane, everything is same. But what makes the difference is its shape and functions. Its construction and the functions it carry out. This is an example of neuron. We'll discuss in depth about this in next coming slides. Structure of neuron. Can you see my cursor moving? Students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is a cell. This complete body is a neuron, and this is cell body, and this one is nucleus. Nucleus.
Cell nucleus.
Okay, and it has dendrites. Dendrites. These are the dendrites. And what does it do? It carry information to the cell body from the other neurons. It is to and fro action. It is not only one direction. It is bidirectional. It takes only one action at a time. It doesn't do multiple actions at a time. Then cell body is also called as soma. This one, cell body, the one which nucleus is there in between. It contains nucleus. Axon is this yellow covering for the blue. You can say it is something like tentacle or octopus leg, to remember it. And axon carries information to the next cell. It is like a cable, like, we switch power on, immediately the fan turns on or light switches on. So the information carrying or electrons or negatively charged ions, whatever is, from the switch to the fan, the wiring is called axon. Axon terminal is the almost end point. Terminal means, terminal is end. So it carries information to the next cell. There, it is not single cell. There, as I said, there are about 100 billion plus cells. Then there is a myelin sheath. This one. Sheath is nothing but covering. It's a coating or a covering which protects axon from other factors, other cells, or other bodies present in the brain. It is like a similar to the electrical cable, protected with the insulin or plastic or rubber, whatever is the material you can call. So insulates the axon and speeds up the neural pulses. Then I have an illustration of neuron, which is hand drawn. This one, in-depth details that you can see even inside the nucleus, you can see there are other parts also. In depth you don't know, but still I thought it would be good if you can see this. And here we can also see synapse. Synapse is the gap between the neuron to the other receptor. And these are all the in detail, like I said, nucleus, and within the axon there are other parts also, that is microtubule and microfilament. These are the things which carry charged ions to the next cell. And I would like to show you a real neuron, how it functions. This is taken under a microscope. This is the neuron, how it looks. This is the nucleus, soma or cell body, and these are the axons and other connecting to different neurons. This is taken under microscope. So there are different types of neurons. I have mentioned only 3 types. There would be 6 types if I remember correctly. Anyway, one is the sensory neuron. Sensory neuron carries information from sensory system to the brain. What are the sensory system? Anyway, we have senses. If you remember,
Yes,
you will
sir.
understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Also referred as afferent, which carries information to the brain.
Brain.
Yeah. Then motor neurons, efferent, which in turn gets the impulses, carry information from the brain to the muscle and glands. Also referred as efferent. A and E is the only difference. If you put A in front of FFERNT, you should remember that it carries information from the sensory system to the brain. And if you put E, carry information from the brain to the muscles or glands. That is the reaction. You have seen, I'll show you in depth, how it functions. In a simple diagram I have made it, I'll show it to you. Then interneurons, this is the shape of interneuron. Then carry information between the other neurons. I have shown it to you and I'll show it to you again also. It's a 3D model is there, and another communication model is also there. I'll show it to you. Then the motor neuron. There is a Glial cell. Glial cell is something which protects or insulates, supports neurons by creating myelin sheath. Sheath is this one, Okay, this green parts. If you are able to see my cursor movement, then it is very easy for you to understand. Myelin sheath. This is what it creates. It supports neuron, and it removes waste products. Brain doesn't have only gray matter and white matter. There are so many other things going on inside the brain. That is the reason we are studying psychology. For the abnormalities, we have to know each and every body part of the body part in detail. So most of the things are not there in your unit, but I thought it would be good for you to understand in depth about these things. So as when you come to practicals, it is very easy for me to explain, or me or somebody else. If whoever is coming, they'll be they can communicate with you fluently, easily. When you understand these things, you don't need to get explained again and again. So, and it removes waste products, provides nourishment to the all these, nucleus, axon, all these things. It completely protects neuron and other its related parts, prevents harmful substances from entering the brain. Communication within the brain. This is what it is there in your textbook. I have a better, diagram too, to understand, how communication happens within the brain. When you first receive the information or impulse, immediately there are particles, positive particle, negative particle. When negative moves out, positive enters in, automatically it polarizes. Polarization means giving some charge, positive. Depolarization means negative. Then there is another thing which is called in a resting period. These things happens continuously within the cell, within axon, continuously going on. This is direction wise. First, check this. I'll show you another. Yeah, it is very easy for you to understand with this diagram. See, first what happens in response to the signal, the soma is the cell body, end of the axon becomes depolarized. Depolarized means no polarity, positive or negative. Depolarizes, immediately repolarize. Then the next, it's a continuous path, current, something like current, positive negative, resting, positive negative, resting. The second part, the depolarization spreads down the axon. Meanwhile, the first part of the member repolarized because sodium channels are inactivated, and additional to K plus channels are have opened. And so sodium and so it's a calcium which blocks, allows and blocks. Calcium channel blockers, that is what in general, if you remember somebody using what do you call mm, BP tablets, they will understand what is calcium channel blockers and other things. Okay, in action, the action potential continues, travels down the axon. This is how the information process with different signals, and the carrying. One second, some. Okay, sure, I'll do that. I'll do one thing next week. Important questions and audience. Okay, sir, important questions. Okay, I'll do that. My next session, I think I'll do that. And whatever I'm teaching now is very, very important to you. This is the important topic. The next one, the four. Then the other topic. The first one, I'll tell you mostly. I'll try to give you important topics at the end of this session, so that you will understand. At the same time, you can be mark those. Uh, if at all I don't have book with me. Uh, I'll give you some topics. Read them perfectly. Sorry. You're not clear. Hello. Okay, ठीक है, I'll do that. Fatima, I'll do that. I'll try to give you as much as possible. Okay. Sure, I'll do that. Okay, let me complete this because we don't have much time now. I have to complete. This is the thing. At the same time, from the next session, I'll give you all the topics, important questions of this particular subject. Okay, is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now this is actual neuron. See, check, it has taken under microscope. flashes of activities in a single neuron is, when excited. Can you see? The one what I was explaining in the previous slide, neuron is resting state, then stimulus causes depolarization, threshold reached, the peak point, or where it is completely charged, then action potential transmits signal, repolarization, and return to the resting state. So this is the sequence where the information is carried: polarized, depolarized, repolarized, resting continuously happens. This is what happening. See, the image shows a millisecond, fraction of seconds, the action is going on. Okay, now communication between the neurons. Synapse is the communicating point to the other neuron. Synapse is the small gap between each dendrite and dendrite ends, and the synapse is the place where it doesn't touches it, but where the neurotransmitters exchange or send signals. This is the spot where the transmission continues. If the signal is flowing this way, electric signal is nothing but positively charged ions. Information is carried in the from left to right, what I have shown here. This is how it looks. This is neuron to neuron communication is happening. This is synaptic, this one. If you see this synaptic space where the communication is happening, and these are Na is the what do you call sodium, where it is blocking, relieving. This is channel where it goes. Channel is nothing but something like a canal where the information is exchanged. This one. Okay, and these are the neurons, interneuron connections. These flashes are carrying through entire neuron network. Neuron network is nothing but you can simply put it as a wide internet where it is entire world is connected. You can't simply disconnect it immediately unless and until a major breakdown occurs. So for your convenience, I have displayed something here. See, as a 1 second, there are so many questions. Why? Okay, sir. That will be very helpful. Also, we don't have much time. Okay, okay, sir. Yes, your practical classes would be there in the June, most probably in the June, first June, July. Yeah, from next week onwards, third and fourth semesters are going to be held till June 15th or 16th, third week up to third week of the June, third and fourth semesters. Then fifth and sixth. That is around 1.5 months after that. So about August, if I am correct, around August, first and second semester, because recently we completed first and second semesters for the previous batches. Your batches is new, so you will be having practicals around most probably after July. Of course, you will have practical classes in first semester too. Recently, I completed 8 batches. 4 batches first semester and 4 batches second semester. Of course, you do have practical classes. First semester will have practical classes. Practical classes will be held only after completion of the theory exams. Anyway, let us not waste on this. We'll talk about this later on. Let me complete this. Okay. See, there is a sensation, external sensation occurred. And first, suppose let us take deer is eating and it has sensed something. Sensation can be smell, light, odor, sound, or anything. And immediately what happened? The direction of external senses, that is sense organs, that is eye, skin, nose, they reacted immediately. Simultaneously, what is happening? Internal stimulus, change of blood pressure or pH value increased or decreased. So it detection by internal organs, that is heart. Both are having simultaneously. So reception happened, signal occurred. It was strong enough, then immediately transmission of sensory, that is afferent neuron transmits information to the CNS, that is brain and spinal cord. Then this transmission, that is efferent neuron transmit impulses to take action. Action in response, muscle or glands respond, and animal runs away. And if if it feel threat, automatically it runs off. This is how immediately all the different glands secrete different enzymes, and these work as different we'll talk about them, how they are useful. If they doesn't secrete, what will happen? All those things you'll try to understand them later. So this I already given you. Resting action potential, these are the above one, sorry, these are positively charged, these are negatively charged. When the exchange, this is exchange is happening, then automatically signal, when signal is received, senses start responding immediately. The flow of the information occurs. The exchange, positive comes in, negative goes out. This is how it happens, the continuously up and down. See this representation to understand, to make you understand clearly. I have given so many examples. See, positive, negative exchanging continuously, they are moving like this. Okay, then neuro impulse, what I meant, ion is nothing but those are the ions what I have showed you. So they are charged molecules. And resting potential is nothing but resting potential is when more negative ions are inside the neuron than the outside. More negative means, as I told you, negative is nothing, they doesn't do anything. Positive is they are carrying some information, automatically they come go out. Positive comes in, negative goes out, then action is happening. When the opposite is there, and then you can say it is a resting period. Charge is approximately minus 70 millivolts. Neuron is not transmitting any information. Resting means no information. Same thing, to make you understand, I've demonstrated this as a electric cable and named it as axon, all these things. For easy understanding, I've done this, nothing else. Okay, so polarization, same depolarization. I told you in the first with different examples, because this is how communication happens within the brain. So action, same. I'm just moving because this I already explained you. Once we finish it, we can talk about your important questions or whatever it is. So neuro impulse, there is one more, graded potential. Graded, what is graded potential? The grade, how strong it is. If neuron is strong, nothing will happen. If they are weak, there is myelin sheath is not there, what will happen? Signals will not carry faster, or there is no signal at all. In such case, all the such neurons come together, they at the same time they add together and to produce an action potential, or they are called summation. They all come together, and that is many sub-threshold depolarizations are added together to produce an action. They are all coming together to produce an action. That is what it meant to say. So this one is weak or damaged, So signals are very weak. They all come together, produce some action. So this is, in general, normal, it does it or it doesn't. Simple. All or none. Simple. All means the above one is all. It is continuously sending signals and very strong signals, or else no signals. Simple. A neuron either fires or it doesn't. Weak neuron doesn't fire. So subthreshold. The upper one is threshold, complete. This one is, you have strong signal over here, and it can transmit signal to the next one, next one, next one. When it does fire, it will always produce an impulse, the same strength. Okay. So for example, these things I'm going to discuss them later on when discussing about sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system, other things. So for example, touching a hot pan immediately, sometimes you don't even feel this one. So immediately you respond if the neuron is functioning properly. This is the same thing. Voltage action happens only one. See, period immediately after an action potential, when another action potential cannot occur. So there is nothing that multitasking. Right. Synapse, as I told you, the gap here, it is called synapse. Can you see gaps here? See, signals or neurotransmitters are transmitting information, but they are not touching. This is called synapse. Synaptic space is the cleft, synaptic, whatever that gap, a tiny gap between the neurons. Terminal button, and it has a terminal button, this one. Here you can't see, but I have shown it to you in the previous slides. Enlarged area at the end of the axon. Synapse is composed of the terminal button of one neuron, the synaptic space, and the dendrites or cell body of the receiving neuron. This one, see, this is synaptic space. Okay, this is synaptic space. This is where this is called channel. Crossing or channel. The information goes like this. This area we have enlarged it. This is called terminal button, dendrite or cell body, and the information. Chemicals are nothing but our neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitter chemicals released by synaptic vesicle. Receptor site, location on receptor neuron for specific neurotransmitter. ठीक है. Some of the well-known neurotransmitters, these are the some examples which I have given. Like one second. This is female neurotransmitters, male. We'll discuss them when we talk about hormones. Acetylcholine is ACH, released with neuromuscular junctions, plays an important role in arousal and retention. Loss of ACH producing cells is linked to Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is something where people tend to forget things. There are different types are there: Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. So they have they're defined with a loss of different things. So dopamine, you might have heard about dopamine in many times. Anyway, let us see what is it. Affects neurons associated with the voluntary movements. Voluntary movements. Hello, what are voluntary movements?
Which is affects to mood, attention, and learning.
Okay. Plays a role in learning, memory, and emotions. So loss of dopamine producing cells cause symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Then serotonin. You would be hearing about serotonin many times. Any idea what is serotonin?
Hunger issues,
No,
learning,
no,
brain, spinal cord,
no. It is in the brain, secreted by
under
throughout
supply
the.
lead to depression and sleeping eating disorders.
Okay, it's a lower serotonin levels implicates depression. It's emotional tone throughout the brain. It will be there throughout the brain. So endorphins.
Spinal cord and brain.
Mm, reduce
Insensitive
brain.
to pain.
Sorry.
Insensitive to pain.
No, endo means within, inside, morphine, pain killer, endorphin, painkiller. Its body produces painkillers. Okay, reduce
Okay.
pain by inhibiting or turning down neurons that transmit pain information. Our body generally releases endorphins unless and until you are frightened severely. The pain won't come to you. Body can resist pain for longer periods. We have so many instances. A person breaks down his leg falling from 200 meters, and still he survived without shouting or anything, and much blood loss. He could drag himself for 5-6 kilometers and came to a point where a helicopter noticed him and took him away and operated, and he could survive perfectly because he was not worried about the injury. Endorphins were playing major role over there. So unless and until you are worried too much, most things will be subsided. Brain will take care. Endorphin is there to protect you in many times. Okay, these are the chemical representation of the some of the neurotransmitters we have: dopamine, serotonin, and all these things. See, the chemistry students can understand this. Oh, sorry. See, what are the neurotransmitters and their functions in our brain? ACH, as you know, location, brain, spinal cord. This is there in your textbook. Only this thing I copied from your textbook. Rest all I made it anyway. Spinal cord, some organs of the parasympathetic nervous system, major functions involved in muscular movement and memory. Efficiency of this leads to memory loss, as we already told you. Degenerative brain diseases. Alzheimer's is a degenerative brain disease. Degenerative means you will understand anyway. Dopamine, midbrain, inhibitory, controls voluntary movements, affects moods, attention, and learning. Excess of dopamine linked to schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a disorder. It is very difficult to cure too. Low levels of dopamine is related to depression and Parkinson's disease. Then endorphin, brain, spinal cord. Oh, you have seen this, and okay. Inhibits transmission of pain impulses. Oversupply results in insensitivity in pain. Okay, this I already told you. Okay, yeah, you can read this. You have it. Then we will move to next one. So what is this? Neuroplasticity. What is plasticity or neuroplasticity mean? By looking at this image, can you identify what is this? Anyway, the when you use your brain, automatically it grows, it becomes strong. Strong enlarges. Enlarges means not, in size. Neuron capacity increases. Brain can change both structurally and chemically by experience. So you should always keep on training your brain for the new things. So it has been recorded how neurons are generated, how it is expanding. This is taken under microscope, electronic microscope under lab. So one study, rat studies showed that when it is kept in an enriched environment, leads to a larger neuron and more connections. And you see, more connections are happening here. At the time, see, increasing. So
Yes, sir.
always you employ yourself with some or the other work. The more you exercise, like learning new language, learning something new, a technique, apart from doing the repeated job in a repeated style or in like mission, you start working in different, find for different alternatives. Your brain will grow and it will be there for supporting you forever. If not 100%, yes, of course it will protect you from Alzheimer's or other things, unless and until you have some genetical issues. This will support you. Like, that's the reason we tell many people to play chess or some puzzle games, do crosswords, instead of sitting wasting time checking at the movies, scrolling through your mobile phone, WhatsApp chats. We ask many people to do puzzles. Karo, just do the puzzle or crosswords or do Rubik's cube. This will rewire your brain every time you do something new, and they'll make it stronger and stronger. Your memory remains for longer. Recent researchers have uncovered the evidence of neurogenesis. This is the recent discovery what I have shown you, and the or the production of new brain cells in human brain. So now let us talk about nervous system. Central nervous system, it consists of central nervous system.
Brain and spinal cord, sir. Brain and spinal cord.
Very good. And it has specific functions for them. And peripheral nervous system, this you have to tell me. You don't know? You do know, but you are not able to tell. Anyway, see, it connects central nervous system to the rest of the body. Somatic nervous system, autonomic nervous system. I'll show you with the examples, because we are psychologists. You're going to, if at all you're going to do research in psychology, you'll be called as a psychologist. You should learn everything. A small hint, immediately you start researching. Psychology is a field, as we have discussed in the first unit. Scope is vast, huge, wide and large. So simple. Nervous system, yeah, this is brain, spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord is called central nervous system. And peripheral nervous system, apart from brain and spinal cord, the rest entire thing is called peripheral nervous system. And it has two more divisions, subdivisions. One is automatic nervous system, the other is somatic nervous system. Automatic deals with internal organs, communicating with internal organs and glands. Somatic with sense organs and voluntary muscles. This is further divided into two: sensory, efferent, motor, efferent. And about automatic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, arousing, calming. You may remember them easily. You say auto, arousing, calming; automatic nervous system, arousing, calming; somatic, sensory, motor; somatic, sensory, motor; so, sen, motor, mo. Just keep them as it is. break them and associate them with the previous division so that you can remember easily. Right. Now let us learn about their functions. Oh my god, there is time is very limited. I haven't completed the first unit itself. Now somatic nervous system, this is how it functions. Consists of neurons that communicate between the body and the brain. I've given neuron that communicates body and the brain. Afferent neuron carries message from sense organ to the spinal cord. Okay, then efferent reverse from the spinal or brain to the muscle or glands. This is how automatically this thing moves or whatever, right? So this is parasympathetic, sympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. What does it do? Time is very limited. I still need to complete it in 10 minutes. 2 units are there. So just when it is listed published on YouTube, stop this area, just go through this. And sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic is opposite of each other. Dilates people, no effects on tear glands, weak stimulation of saliva, all these things, and no digestion, everything. Here digestion happens, all these things. Parasympathetic nervous system is opposite of nervous system, sympathetic. ఆశ నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్న తర్వాత కాల్ చేయవా? Right. So most effective fight and flight response, increase of heart rate, all these things, sympathetic nervous system. I've mentioned them clearly, so it is better you go through it. And spinal cord, this one is spinal cord, cross section. Parasympathetic nervous system, it calms body, produces effect opposite to those of sympathetic nervous system, as I already told you. Just pause the video, check it. Then about this one is important, but I don't know whether the complex cable of nervous system that connects brain to the rest of the body, carries motor impulses and brain to the internal organs and muscles, carries sensory information and extreme. Here. See, it has different segment like cervical region, thoracic, lumbar region, and sacral region. Cervical means neck related, neck up to C8 is neck. From here back, this is lumbar. Lumbar means what do you call waistline, and below that is sacral. These have different functions. I have mentioned them clearly. You can open these things will be asked at your exam, but in general they will not ask specific. They will not ask anything specific. In general they will ask question you need to write. That is it. Now talking about different parts of brain. Medulla, this is medulla. What does it do? Controls breathing, heart rate, blood pressure. Then pons, maintains sleep and wake cycles. Cerebellum, this one, it coordinates body movements. Then thalamus, this one, thalamus relays information from sensory receptor to the brain. Then hypo, motivated behavior, motivated as you know, hunger, thirst, body temperature, sexual drive, etc. Directly involved in emotional behavior. So this is nothing but a network of neurons found throughout the brain, reticulomeans. Then we're talking about amygdala, emotional behavior. The amygdala controls most of our emotions, fear. Hippocampus is essential for new memories. Amygdala is controlling our emotions and regulating emotions, fear, such things. Cerebral cortex, occipital lobe is this one, about viewing, visual information. Temporal lobe, complex visual tasks such as face recognition, etc. receiving the processed auditory information involving balance, some emotions and motivations, etc. Some language processing. Yeah, the temporal is where we have what do you call Broca's area. Here Broca's area. This is Wernicke's area where language understanding and processing happens. So parietal lobe receives sensory information involved in spatial abilities. What distance? For suppose you want to jump, you will this area estimates the distance whether you can jump or not. What intensity? All these things can be calculated. This one thing. There is a here. So frontal lobe coordinates information from other lobes, controls voluntary movements, attention, setting goals, expression and appropriate emotions, etc. To simplify this information is there in your textbook, this table, and I just highlighted them. That's it. We already discussed, so I'm just moving on. So corpus callosum is this one. This is the fibrous body which joins both hemispheres, left and right. Left and this is nothing but brain localization, where brain has separate functions. Left controls right controls left. So right side of the body is controlled by left side of the body is controlled by right. I'll show you with example. Yeah, this is an example conducted, and a person is seeing on the right side. He can see a ball because left is processed, because language is over there, he can pronounce it. So he said he can see ball because left hemisphere is dealing with language and processing. Right is dealing with the image and other things. So when he has seen right, there is no language connection, so he is not able to process. When corpus callosum is not working or damaged, this thing will happen. So you can see left hemisphere specific functions are there. And we have some instances like a girl of 3.5 years where left brain is completely removed due to severe seizures. She could perform and she is still alive. She is 21 years age now, where brain accommodated itself to both the functions of left and right hemispheres. So this is done with the first one. I think I'll move to the next one. I hardly have 5 minutes time, but anyway, see that. Yeah, now let us try to come. This is a small chapter. The next one is bigger one. Endocrine glands, hormones are nothing but endocrine. We will talk about them. I'll talk about them. Questions, other things I'll tell you. So endocrine system helps to coordinate, integrate complex psychological reactions. Endocrine glands secrete hormones into bloodstream. They'll just not control from there. Hormones will enter into the bloodstream, though they go where their work is necessary, their presence is necessary. So hormones serve to organize the nervous system and body. Hormones also activate behavior such as sexual behavior, etc. So these are the different organs which secrete different hormones. Okay. Now endocrine system, it has pituitary gland. This is pituitary gland. This one is a master gland. It secretes what? Then gonads, ovaries for women, test for male, estrogen, androgens. Then adrenal gland secretes hormones that in reaction to the stress. Adrenal means just above the just above the kidney. Adrenal just adjacent to the behind the kidney, not behind exactly, on the kidney, just above. So renal means kidney gland secretes hormones reaction to the stresses. Then Pineal gland produced by here you can see, and secretes melatonin, regulates sleep cycle. Melatonin, that is the reason, don't get exposed to the mobile phone after 8 p.m. Your sleep will distract, or computer screen or TV. So this maintains our circadian rhythm. Pancreas controls blood sugar levels. Pancreas is this one. It secretes insulin. Then thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, it is very important gland. Most of the people have thyroid issues. So it secretes thyroxine that controls our metabolism. Parathyroid, yes, it controls calcium and phosphate in turn, which controls our excitability. Now endocrine system, this you can pause and check for while going through revision or anything. Just pause it, you will see most of the things, and it is very useful to you. What type of gland, hormone, chemical class, representative action, regulators, what regulates it. These things are very important. I think they will be asking about adrenaline and pineal gland, melatonin. These things they will be asking. So this is also in detailed, there it is represented with the image and a tabular column. Here I have given it, simply hypothalamus, pituitary, what do they do, where it is located, and what is the use of it. Simplified it and given it to you. Then their functions, and what if something unusual happens to it. That's it. This is done. I think the most important topic will move on to now, and this is very interesting topic. So nature and nurture. So let us talk about nature and nurture. What is nature and nurture? Any idea? Just talk to me, because there is no time is very short.
About human behavior.
Sorry, what?
Human behavior.
See, we are
Inborn
it is a controversy about behavior. Everybody used to say, person is born with a genetically or hereditary, he acquires all the his characteristics, or genetically is acquiring. That is what called nature. Nurture means he's brought up. He's brought up. Where he is brought up and how he is brought up, all these things. Whether behavior affects within nature by birth, or by nurturing, or the environment, or surroundings, or the people who brought up them. This is what nature and nurture. That is the reason, before checking out this topic, I have done extensive research. Apart from your textbook, I thought I'll give something which nobody has seen. Anyway, this is the objectives. Now I have studied this book completely, The Origin of Human Nature, and prepared this PowerPoint presentation. That's the reason I could not find much time to put it in a sober way. Anyway, to understand this, our behavior is often characterized by human nature. Is that correct or not? What do we mean by human nature? How might a psychologist go about identifying a trait of a human nature? These are the questions we should ask. Because you're studying, maybe you'll have this. One second. This is distracting me. Yes. In a culture that emphasizes our differences, we sometimes forget just how similar we are. We look similar, but are we similar? Sometimes we do, right?
Yep.
You will come to understand when we complete this. A simple, to understand this, I have some questions, some things. Just go through this. Communicate both verbally and non-verbally. Enforce rules of etiquette. Avoid, insects, fear of snakes, heights, exchange of gifts. All these things, go through them. These things, like, laughing, marriages, smile, mimicking jokes, music, games, war, everything similar, mostly, right? So in a world of such a diverse culture, why do so many universal behaviors exist? So many behaviors are there. Why? Genetic similarities or shared DNA? So let us ask a question. What ultimately shapes our behavior? The influence of genes, evolutionary psychology, the natural selection, nature, and early development. This was given by Darwin. So genetic behavior getting, let us start, we know that both nature and nurture, we have together to shape our behavior. It is easy to provide that nurture influences behavior, but how could we devise a way to prove that genetics influence our behavior? Let us deep dive into that, and we'll see with examples. Behavior genetics, study individuals' behavior differences, weight, effect of nature and nurture. There are about 23 chromosomes. This is there in your book, so I've just kept them without putting any images so that I can give you more information. Okay, I think we are still online, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Chromosomes and 23 eggs form thread-like structure composed of DNA, genes 30,000 each, self-replicating unit, synthesized protein, the building blocks of physical development. Okay, gene complexes, many genes acting in concert. Gene influences physical makeup, intelligence, aggressiveness, and happiness, etc. This is how genes look, chromosome, DNA, cell, all these things, here, you can see gene from this DNA, chromosome in this DNA. So how it affects? They have so many studies. Excuse me. There are so many studies about identical twins and fraternal twins. What does this study say about? Identical twins, they are from monozygote, single egg fertilized, split into two, or you can say clones, copies. Then fraternal means separate fertilized eggs, 50% shared genes, no more genetical similarities than normal siblings. And put them into, a graphical representation is there. Same, it's identical twins, that is monozygote, most probably same sex only. Fraternal, same or opposite sex. Then this is how they look. Identical twins, shared environment, unique, 100%. Fraternal, shared, unique, 50%, and this is how they look. And fraternal and identical, fraternal or identical twins study findings provide specifics for the following, like, Alzheimer's, extroversion, neuroticism, divorce rate, schizophrenia, and all these things. What does this give you? How we differentiate? See, Alzheimer's, yes. Fraternal, 60%. Sorry. Identical, 60%. Fraternal, 30% only. So identical twins are having genetical issues. The same traits have been transferred to the next offsprings. So extraversion, identical twins more similar than the fraternal, almost similar. Divorce rate, identical, almost 6 times more than the fraternal, or when compared with the normal. That is, fraternal are 1.6 times more than the normal people, and identical are 5.5 times more. Schizophrenia, yes. Identical 50%, fraternal 10%, siblings 3%, strange. This is different study. Will not be dealing with that. Anyway, for example, Minnesota twin study. They have been separated a long back, and when they met, they resemble same. They are into the same profession. Their dressing is same. Everything remains same. Similar case studies we have seen. When these people were separated a long back. That was about at the time of birth, if I remember correctly. One second. Levy and Mark, or they used to call him Levy and Newman. When they met, they are similar, like mustache. Everything was same. Their dressing similarity is same, and yeah, including the size, sideburns, glasses, college degree, and they were into. One was into firefighting. The other one was into hunting, fishing, science, food, house. Both raised by Jewish families, and met when they met, they responded similarly. At the same time, they given a same gesture, and this is also something really abnormal. Then genetic and behavior. Why has genetics not been given more consideration as they determined as the personality and behavior? Second half of 20th century, behaviorism dominated experience of primary architect of human behavior. Invisible genetics cannot see, touch, or remember the influence. So determinism compromises free will. Nurture gives parents measure of consideration, can control outcomes. Nurturing parents always measured by children's behavior by controlling. They used to think, yes, we can control their behavior. And bad in this, bad is that ineffective behavior can be unlearned. Ineffective behavior can be unlearned under the influence of parents. What is the need of this study? Genetic argument reduced free will concerned by determinism. I'm rushing, so I'm not able to. So when they say that boy was born to act like that, and she is born, she will be like that because she is born to so and so. He is born to so and so. He will do wonders. Maybe after some time you'll see completely opposite of that. So reality both play critical role in who you are. That means genetics and behavior both play a major role. The genes you carried forward and the behavior or the environment you are nurtured will definitely act how you behave in the future. Adaptation cases also, there are studies. What insight has adoption studies provide regarding the inherent influence of genetics on the personality? This thing is distracting me. Yeah, environmental relatives, biological relatives. Finding in this study, they studied environmental relatives and biological findings. Subject personality reflected biological relatives. Personality reflected biological even when adopted at the birth. At the time of birth, they have given to somebody for adoption, and subject's personality reflected even after giving it to somebody else, no matter where they are and what age they would be after some time, or maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, their biological personality was similar. Conclusion in this study, they concluded that people who grow up together don't resemble each other in personality. The identical twins or whoever it is, if they are grow up together, their personality differs. If you are grown up separately in different environment, there are chances they were similar, they have similar tastes and other things. I have an example I'll give you later on. Why two people are raised different or two people raised together are so different. Confirmation of gene impact on the personality. Second. So environmental. So what trait does nurture influence? Yes, values, nurture, where you are brought up, manners, faith, religion, politics, social views, all things definitely influence you. The environment you are brought up. Suppose you are thrown in or you are given to somebody in Kenya and you are grown up there for 10-20 years, you would never like to come back to this concrete jungle. You will be happy with the natural jungle. So values, other things doesn't matter. You are accustomed with the values which are prevalent in that area or Kenya or that area. So heritability, yes, extent of which difference between the individual and can be attributed to the genes. As environment becomes more similar, heredity as a source of difference becomes more important, or vice versa. Heritable differences doesn't often translate to group differences. Our emotional excitability, temperaments trait trend to remain consistent throughout the life. Studies confirmed it. Genetic temperament helps from enduring personality. Genetic temperaments, like no matter what you do, your temperament is strong. You will endure for long. You will not be short-tempered. Think of 2 examples of those you know. If you have an idea, just think of them. Nature and nurture. Genes are self-regulating, respond and adapt to the environment. Individual differences almost always the results of the both nature and nurture. Gene and scene dance together. While studying these things, one of the scientists, psychologists said, genes and scene dance together. It's a famous sentence. What does it mean? Or simply say, nurture works on what nature endows. See, now even specific traits, weight, extroversion, sexual orientation, depression, schizophrenia, alcoholism, these things are now we can see even genetical modification. Babies are also being produced in are still are under research, if I can say, under research, and the next generations can have genetically modified babies of your interest. Human nature. Why do infants start to fear stranger about the time they become mobile? Why are most parents so passionately devoted to their children? These are some questions which you should answer. Why do so many more people have phobias about spiders and snakes than guns and electricity? Why are men quicker to perceive friendliness as sexual interest? Certain things which you should ask because of their construction of brain and hormonal changes. Evolutionary psychology, Darwin, natural selection shapes our behavior and thinking over a time from 10 million years to present. Certain traits, behavior that enhances survival are passed on over generations. I have a beautiful example I'll give you. This particular, she is a psychologist, Dimitri Belyaeva. She domesticated these foxes, and after 30 generations, complete domestication could happen. Now sold as house pets. What does this implication? What are the implications of this her experiment? 30 males and 100 females. For 30 generations, she trained them. Now these foxes are house pets. When certain traits are selected that give reproductive advantages, those traits will prevail. एक अच्छा habit आदत को आप encourage करेंगे, those things will be there with the child forever, and that will be carried forward to the next generation or offspring, and he will also do the same. And finally, that particular gene, or those people will have that gene permanently in them. Evolutionary psychologists say, yeah, gender differences and sexuality. Women rational, men recreational. Their general trait: incubates, nurses, once infant, wants protection, and choose wisely. Perpetuates his gene, spreads his gene through other female, chooses widely. Woman chooses wisely, man chooses widely. Wise and wide difference is there. Gender differences and sexuality significance. Nature selects behavior that increases the likelihood of sending one's gene into future. Nature and nurture and gender. Gender development, male, female. What determines the gender? 23rd pair of the chromosome determines the sex. Female X, male X or Y. Okay. So it is the male who decides the baby's gender, female or male, not the female. Gender and social power. These are simple things, and I think we have covered most of the things. Gender and social behavior. Yes, male, individualistic, large playgrounds, whatever it is. Male, answer syndrome, freedom, self-reliance. Female, interdependent relationships. Girls, similar groups, often one friend, less competitive. Imitate social relationships, 80%. Greeting cards, more religious oriented, etc. These are general behaviors. Boys and girls, immediately whatever boy, then what gift you're going to give it to your sibling or relative. Somebody tells you that she has given or he has given, they have a new child, and if they say boy, immediately you take a toy or a car, something like that. If they say it is a girl, then immediately somebody takes a soft one like a Barbie doll or etc. So we ourselves are biasing instead of looking at things as they are a child, and you are deciding their playing toys also right from their birth. So prenatal, 7th week, all these things are simple, but I've given extensively. So I think this is covered most of your nature and nurture behavior. So by looking at this, can we say that nature plays a role of genetical up to certain level, but nurture is also very, very important to shape up an individual's behavior? Can we say that nature influences of senses of gender by gender identity, cultural sense being male or female, gender typing, casting, assigning traditional gender roles, gender schema theory, mental association, we make influence how we perceive gender in other issues, social learning theory, that is observation and imitations, nature as early neural development, experiencing matters. Just go through this. Example, foreign language, accent and grammar, visual perceptions and musical, etc. So Rosenwig has conducted a test, that is isolated, impoverished and versus social and enriched environment, young rats, and they have seen this is what how it's cell development. I have already told you while talking about neurons, when you give a proper environment, automatically neurons strengthens, and this is what transferred to the next generation through genetics. So premature babies, neonatal units, massage therapy stimulates growth, speeds of departure from hospital, whatever. Parents' influence, yes, parents' influence is there. Genetically determined human traits. Traits are mostly determined by the parents' genes. Parents' influence help determining how those traits are expressed. Genome gives the basic plot. The parent gives it its tone, accent, and emphasis. In other words, it starts with the kid and the parent picks up on it. Implications are huge for parenting, shaping genetic trait to be productive one. Individualism, collectivism. These are some of the important things. Individual self-independent life tasks, discover, express one's uniqueness, what matters, me, personal achievement, rights, freedom, self-esteem, coping of change reality. Many often temporary, and these things are how individual shapes of their behavior when individually or collectively. So we come to the end of today's session. Thank you. Hello.
The important questions and answers, please.
It's already 12 o'clock now. See, I'll do one thing from next week. Sorry.
If you say
Okay, ठीक है. I'll tell you. I'll give you some important questions. And I'll tell you some important questions. I think I'm not supposed to tell those things on the Zoom. Anyway, what was the first one we talked about? Neurons, right? So you can say briefly explain the if you have a explain about functions of neurotransmitters.
Sir, can you connect Telegram?
No? Sorry.
Sir, can you connect Telegram?
Yeah, I do have. ठीक है. It's a K Madhu 21 is my Telegram ID. K Madhu 21. But I'm not supposed to give my other details in this, if I'm correct, because when is your exam?
లేదు టైం అయిపోయినా కదా. హలో సార్.
చెప్పండి
సార్ క్లాస్ టైం అయిపోయింది సార్. నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి.
Okay, Amma, that is it. Thank you so much. And I think I'm not supposed to give details in this, if I'm correct, because thank you so much. Bye. When is your exam?